Well, good morning, everyone. How you doing? Hope you're having a great start to your day, and we're always happy to be on with you. And I want to say hello to a few folks this morning. Make sure you get your notices that we're on, and good morning. And let's see who's going to be number one on the hit parade. It's Michael from Norland, Jen, Cape Breton, Carrie, Nebraska, good morning. Sandra from Aurelia. And Rosalinda, Niagara Falls. Mary, good morning. And John, our friend from Elgin, Illinois. Denise, Kansas City, Missouri. Julie, Sturgeon. Linda, St. Jude, Quebec. Georgie, Nova Scotia. Dan, good morning. Wendy from Markham. And Nellie, good morning. Micheline, Sturgeon. Susan, good morning. Jeanette from our staff. Rita, bonjour. Donna, Bell Valley. And Ronaldo from Washington State. Nick from our staff, good morning. And Linda, are you the Linda from Pennsylvania? Good morning, Gloria, and good morning, Jackie, and good morning, Dave, and good morning, Jordan. How are you? Wendy, London, Ontario. Lorraine, nice to have you on. Jean and Fran from Orangeville. Good morning. Diane from LaSalle. Heather, Miramichi. Good morning. Bethel. Betty Lynn. I meant Shirley. Kim, good morning. Timmons. New Brunswick. Deb from Detroit, Michigan. Yolande. Bonjour. Catherine. Springdale, Newfoundland. Fran. Good morning. Lots of friends. Sandy, Washington State. Brahim, Portland, Oregon. Good morning. Elsie, Maria, Jerry, New Brunswick. Go Habs, go. Grace, sunny Fenwick. Sharon, Wyoming. Chantal, Ottawa. Diane, or Deanna, good morning. Barbara, Atlanta. Lorraine, BC. Mary, good morning, guys. Okay, let's get going. Yvonne, how are you? Good morning. How to starve fat cells, okay? Now, I know you guys are sick of me saying this, but coffee is unreal. It's the real vitamin C. 2 more studies that I flagged on the weekend on coffee. One of them has to do with fat cells. And let me give you a little bit of teaching on fat cells, okay? Now, you have 2 types of fat cells. You have what they call white fat cells, and they are storing machines. They're fat storing machines. Then you have what they call brown fat cells, and they actually help to metabolize and burn off other fat cells. So brown is good, white isn't so good, okay? Now, fat cells, like any other tissue in your body, need blood supply, okay? They can't live without blood. The life of the flesh is in the blood. Even fat needs blood supply. Now, okay, got that? So when you gain weight, when someone gains weight, 1 pound. Now, I don't have you know what my 5 pounds of fat look like. I've shown that to you before, live, and those folks on podcast, well, just imagine, it's about a foot long and about 6 inches wide. Fat takes up a lot of space. 1 pound of fat, okay, 1 pound of fat creates, listen to this, you just put 1 pound of fat on, you create 5 miles extra blood supply. 5 miles of blood vessels to bring nutrients to fat. Can you believe that? And think about that for a minute. Now, so, you know, guys, we're very hard on ourselves. Women especially, very, very hard on yourself. Because you're on a scale and you're doing the reset and you're upset because your husband is losing more weight than you. Okay? And it's frustrating for you. Now, I'm old-fashioned. There's differences in the sexes. And anatomically and hormonally, if you don't believe that, then I'm sorry. Women are different. They got hormones. But let me get back to what I was saying. When you do the reset, when you change fuels, you're doing a lot of good things. Forget the scale for a minute. I mean, you're doing 20, 30 different things. When you lower insulin resistance, almost everything gets better. If your primary goal is weight loss, ladies, you might be a little frustrated. But let me tell you something. When you lose 1 pound of fat, because if you change fuels and you're eating a high protein, high fat diet, which I love, eggs, meat, and cheese, you're going to gain muscle. And that can affect your scale to some extent. But let me tell you the good news of 1 pound. 1 pound of weight loss. 1 pound. You've lost 5 miles of extra blood vessels. Now, why is that significant? Well, your heart doesn't have to work as hard. Your heart doesn't have to work as hard. This is why the vast majority of people, when they do the research or do any weight loss, their blood pressure goes down. Think of it. It's almost like, you know, as you gain weight and you put on fat, it's almost like train tracks. You have to build tracks to the extra fat. Blood supply. You decrease it 1 pound. You're losing 5 miles of blood vessels. And that's good for you. Now, back to the study. Okay? Back to the study. Do you know, okay, I'm going to read it to you. Coffee more specifically, chlorogenic acid. Do you know that coffee has chlorogenic acid? Who cares? Well, if you study coffee like I do, one thing you know about why I call it the real vitamin C, because it really is better than, it is 500 times better than ascorbic acid. 500 times. Study after study as study. Because people, like I get when they say this to me, okay? Because whenever I do something on coffee, people get on Google and they go, is there any vitamin C in coffee? And they don't find any vitamin C in coffee. So what? So what? I always tell the story, of Jacques Cartier, okay? If you're Canadian, you probably took this in history class. He was the guy that named Canada, Canada. Came from Jacques Cartier. And he came down the St. Lawrence River, and he had already lost 25 men at sea from scurvy. Now, he didn't know it was scurvy, I'm sure, but from a lack of vitamin C. Now, you know what the Indians or the Iroquois tribes gave him and his men? They made up a tea. They didn't put fruit in it, vitamin C. They had pine bark in a tea. The point I'm trying to make is this. Coffee has so many, it's got 1,000 phytonutrients, and one of them is called chlorogenic acid. The study done on chlorogenic acid shows it actually cuts off the blood supply to fat cells. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Isn't that wonderful? Now, I told you this before, that I really like coffee with a meal, because they've shown that when you drink coffee with a meal, it lowers your insulin response. And remember, insulin, there's no fat storing hormone like insulin. Insulin is a fat storing hormone. As long as insulin is present, it's impossible to lose fat. So coffee attacks fat cells in two ways. One, it decreases insulin response. Isn't that wonderful? Two, it cuts off blood supply to white fat cells. It cuts off their blood supply because of the chlorogenic acid. New study just came out. Guys, the reason I chuckle a little bit is because you have to understand, I've been around a long time, okay? A long time. And when I used to defend coffee, I don't get as much pushback today as I used to. But I used to get a lot of pushback. Coffee was a whipping boy. A whipping boy for many years. Coffee's full of caffeine. Coffee is no good for you. Coffee's no good. It's acidic. It's acidic, doc. Yeah. It's got chlorogenic acid. I know that. But coffee actually makes you more alkaline because your body knows exactly what to do to buffer the acidity. Tomatoes are acidic. So what? That doesn't make them bad for you. The only acidity that really kills you is sugar, my friend. Because your body can't even buffer that. Your body is so fearfully and wonderfully made, it knows how to balance your pH. But if you insist on eating junk food, sugar, and crappy carbohydrates, you become very acidic. Your tissue becomes acidic. Now, back to coffee. Like I said, I don't get as much pushback now. And I guess because my audience knows better. But don't look up, okay? Don't look up. Well, you can if you want. You can Google and look up, is there vitamin C in coffee? Not specifically, but there's 1,000 phytonutrients that if you drink coffee, you will never get scurvy. Wow. Guaranteed. If you never had another fruit or any vitamin C whatsoever and you drink coffee, you would never get scurvy. That I guarantee you. And look, am I against the other vitamin C, ascorbic acid? No, I'm not against it. But I always say this, me, Linus Pauling, who won a Nobel Prize in medicine because of his research on vitamin C, only missed out on one letter in the alphabet. I always say that because he didn't talk about vitamin D. Had he known what vitamin D does, he would have researched vitamin D instead of vitamin C. And had he known, if Linus Pauling had known about coffee, the real vitamin C, I would have got him to change his mind on the other vitamin C. No, okay. I'm not against vitamin C. Here's what I'm against, the other ascorbic acid. The problem with the ascorbic acid, therapeutically, if you take a supplement, just a supplement of ascorbic acid on its own, it don't do much. Unless you take it in an IV, meaning you're getting a boatload full in IV. I like that, by the way. I'm not against that. There's some good research, and that's what Linus Pauling was talking about. There's some good research on what ascorbic acid does to cancer. But in a you can't take that. You can't have 200 oranges in a day. What Linus Pauling was talking about was therapeutic doses of vitamin C, ascorbic acid, and for cancer and the immune system. But that amount you have to, because you're just going to pee it out unless you, and the other problem with ascorbic acid, by the way, I just tell you from my background in biochemistry. Do you know that vitamin C, ascorbic acid, looks a lot like sugar? A sugar molecule and vitamin C, they're very similar. So when you're consuming too much sugar, your body really gets rid of the good vitamin C. That's why I substitute it with the real vitamin C, coffee. And chlorogenic acid decreases blood supply to fat cells. Woohoo! Who knew? Who knew? Doesn't that make you happy? Okay, here's the second study on coffee that just came out of, where did I see it? Okay, Jacobs University. You know where that is? In Germany. A German study came out with this. Listen. Okay, I'm going to read you the study. Again, it has to do with chlorogenic acid. Because of chlorogenic acid in coffee, Jacobs University says this: it offers protection against COVID, the virus. Huh. Isn't that wonderful? It's antiviral. Yep, it's antiviral. Another one for coffee, another win for coffee. Because of its contents, chlorogenic acid. It's antiviral. Well, that's what they used to say about ascorbic acid, right? It's cold season. It's flu season. You know, take vitamin C as a supplement. No, just drink your coffee. Just drink your coffee. And don't put sugar in it. Make sure you don't put any sugar in it. Isn't that great news? Yeah, it's great news. So, guys, I love it. Cuts off blood supply to fat cells. And it's antiviral. Yeah. Anyway, I know that my wife says you only look for positive studies on coffee. I admit that. I know. If you try and convince me it's no good for you, I won't listen. No, I will listen. But nah, there's just too much research, guys. Too much research. And it's not, it's not really in mainstream media, although some studies have hit the mainstream. But mainstream media, unless it's a drug, it's not going to get a lot of ink. But nonetheless, it is true. Nonetheless, it is true. Coffee. So when do you drink coffee? Anytime. Look, here's the sweet spot of coffee. I've talked to you about this in the past, but this is done on my 40 plus years of research with coffee. Okay? Coffee, about 4 cups a day. Here's a question people ask. Well, does it matter if it's decaf or not? No. Decaf is good. Try and get, a better decaf, and that is when it is, they call it Swiss water processed, meaning that there's no chemicals used or whatever. And it's not the caffeine that's important in coffee. It's the bean. It's the bean. The bean is unreal. It's God's gift to humanity. I feel sorry for tea drinkers. Why would you drink tea when you can drink coffee? Okay? I'm sort of half joking, but Okay? So that's the sweet spot. Research 4 cups of coffee a day. You go over that, you know, and be careful for, you get, a lot of people, like for me, anytime after noon, the odd time I'll have a coffee in the afternoon, okay? I like that. But I'll drink a decaf then, for me, okay? Because I don't want to affect my sleep. And, it's the caffeine bothers me. It never used to when I was younger. I could drink coffee 10 minutes before going to bed, but not anymore for me. And, millions of people are like that. They just, you know what, I don't have a coffee late in the day. I have a decaf. I have a decaf every night. The bean is the key. That's where the 1,000 phytonutrients are. In the bean. That is what cuts off the blood supply to your fat cells. Holy moly. That's what lowers your insulin response. So now you get a double whammo of fat blocking. Isn't that nice? Because insulin is a fat storing machine. That's its job. If people insist on eating sugar, insulin's got a job to do, and it will turn that sugar and store it as glycogen in fat cells, especially around the liver, the Costco parking lot. It'll fill it up. That's insulin's job. Coffee decreases insulin. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? Okay? Are we having fun yet? Okay? Are we having fun yet? Yeah, I had to bring that out. And about the blood supply. Imagine 1 pound and you got 5 more miles of blood vessels are created for every pound of fat. My word. Okay. Okay. Now, remember about coffee too, because I was sharing this with someone yesterday because they were suffering from gout. The best thing you can take. Well, we got part of the answer. We got part of the answer. Gout is an inflammatory disorder. What do we know about gout? Okay, the king's disease. Wasn't because the king was eating meat, by the way. It wasn't about that. It was because the king was drinking too much wine and beer that go directly to the liver. Wine, fructose. And uric acid is fructose based metabolism. It's a byproduct of it. Now, we all make uric acid. It's a waste product. But what happens when you can't get rid of it? And a lot of people have high uric acid. They don't even know it because they haven't been tested. And they're not even getting gout symptoms. But high uric acid is an insulin thing. It's a sign of insulin resistance. It's inflammatory. And coffee reduces uric acid. But Doc, I thought you said it was acidic. Yeah, but once it gets inside your body, it actually helps to reduce uric acid. Yep. Have I convinced you yet what to be drinking? Okay. Isn't that interesting, these studies? Love it. Love it. Okay, guys. Now, couple of things. Tomorrow, probably going to do an afternoon session. Okay? Doing a little bit of traveling this week. So, I'll keep you informed. Okay? We'll do it on the on our private Facebook group, but definitely not going on tomorrow morning at 8:30. Okay? So, stay tuned today. I'll give you a more update, maybe about a 4 p.m. Eastern, for me anyways, podcast tomorrow, okay? So I'll let you know about that, okay? Now, what is Friday? It's question and answer Friday. So, guys, get your questions in. We try and answer all your questions. Okay? We love that. Okay, so drink your coffee, about 4 cups a day, okay? Don't ruin your coffee with sugar. Don't ruin it. Form a new habit. Try and drink it black or with a little bit of cream, not milk. Milk makes it sweet, okay? You want cream if you need that. I like my coffee black, by the way. And by the way, we got a coffee coming. If you read about the bean that we have acquired, unreal. You should see how good it is. Okay, it's coming to a theater near you soon. We'll let you know. Okay, just about ready. Okay, guys, we love you dearly, and we'll talk to you soon.